Hi, this is Nicole Rivera, and you're listening to the Stop Writing Alone podcast. Hey everyone, we are continuing the Happy Camper Club interview series, and this week we have Amy Strong. She's an OG Happy Camper, meaning that she was one of the people there April 2020 for my guinea pig experiment of what Happy Campers Club was going to be. I just knew it was going to be some online writing community, but would it be the thing that others needed? And how would it inspire people to write, to meet each other, to grow together? Amy is just one of the stories, again, telling us how it inspired her. She is now part of The Right Crowd, a brand new YouTube channel and writing community for all of you out there. I can't recommend it enough. You need to go check out The Right Crowd on YouTube. Amy's going to tell you why, and I'm really happy to say that in a couple of weeks, I'm going to have her partner, Audrea Martin, also from The Right Crowd, also here on the Happy Campers interview series. So we will get a teaser of that today and an introduction to the crew so that you can go on over and check out their videos. But also, Amy is going to share with us all the other writing communities that she has learned from, grown from, and give you all the nitty gritty on the things that she's writing, the things that she's doing. It's just an amazing wealth of resources. Once again, it's another episode where I highly recommend you dive into the show notes just so you can see not only all of Amy's links, but also the links to all of the spaces that she's hanging besides here in Stop Writing Alone. So here we go. Here's Amy Strong, the one of the wonderful hosts of The Right Crowd, writer and wonderful person all around. I'm just gonna let her tell you the rest. Enjoy listening. I'm here with Amy Strong, one of the Stop Writing Alone original Happy Campers. Am I right? Have you been?
Yes, I'm an OG.
April 2020, you're an OG. Of course, we have the OG group. And we're here, we're going to talk about writing community, but I also want to be talking about what you have currently going on right now. So why not just let the listeners know what is the big project that Amy Strong is working on right now and where people can find you.
So because of the Stop Writing Alone opportunities, another member and I have just started a YouTube channel called The Right Crowd. And we drop videos once a week, and they are basically, it's like a book club for craft writing, except we're the only two members that do any talking. We encourage our viewers to follow along, and we tell you what the next week is going to be about. But the actual videos are just the two of us giving our take on the book. And because we are both, Audrey and I are pretty much the exact opposite of each other, with the exception of our love for dogs. Like right. That's about the only thing that we really have in common.
It's a huge unifying principle.
So there are some things that we have the same take on, and then there's some things that we, like there's one of the books that we discussed. The first book we did was Save the Cat. And there's a little bit of woo-woo in it. And she's all about the woo-woo. And I'm like, nah, not for me. Next.
Not having it. Right.
Yeah. So that's the big thing that I have going on. And I wouldn't have even, Audrey and I met through Stop Writing Alone. So right. Nothing about it would have happened if it had not been for this community.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know me, I'm so excited about what you two are doing over there, because first of all, it is true essence of Stop Writing Alone, that you found each other, you found your people, and you're continuing these conversations, and then paying it forward to the universe by going out there and now sharing more writing community with the world, inviting people into The Right Crowd. But also the content that you're sharing, I think, is wonderful. We've talked about Save the Cat, the Save the Cat Writes a Novel ad nauseum in the Happy Campers Club. There's so many people that are fans of it. Some people have read it all the way through. Some people have just looked at, the free PDFs. What I love about that first series on your YouTube channel is that you take it really slow, so that right. If anyone hasn't checked it out yet, if you head over to the YouTube channel, you could really watch that first video and get a true sense of the beginning arc and the start of all of the introduction and how Jessica Brody is really tackling story. And then, you don't try to tackle the entire book in one video. You say, come back next week.
That would be a video that never ends.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the choice, right? Either it's like a very long video or it's so like cliff notes that you're not getting enough. And so that's what I'm loving about what you're doing, is that it's not, you're not reading the book for us necessarily, but you are really giving a deep understanding of what's going on. And I think it goes back to exactly what you said, that you have these two different voices going back and forth about what you perceive from it and what Audrea perceived from it. So I'm loving it. What's the second book that you guys are going through?
Book in a Month by Dr. Victoria Schmidt.
Okay.
Oh, wait, is that the right name? Hang on. Yes. Schmidt.
Oh, great.
That's the second one. And our third one that will be recording this month to drop later will be The Anatomy of Story by John Truby. I
haven't read that one, but I've heard tons about it. Have you already read all your books, or are you reading them as you go? How are you to sort of handling it on the back end? Like, what is your schedule? Do you meet and chat about it before, or is the chat about the book what's happening on the video?
So we plan out how we're going to break it down, because our goal is to have each book have an intro and then 4 weeks of content.
Great. Okay.
And then we throw in a bonus video that has nothing to do with the book in the middle. So if there are people who are following along and they've got it gives them a little catch-up time. It's a little buffer time for them to be able. It also gives them time to get the next book, because we don't announce the next book until video 4 of the current book.
Gotcha.
So, and then what we do is we literally get together to do our recording, and that's when we discuss it. And we discuss it like a book club. And there's rarely any editing done. So you get the authentic Amy and Audrea and all the pieces that come with that.
There was one video where you were like, oh, I'm going to edit that all out. And I'm like, I'm so happy you didn't.
My husband does our editing.
Okay, great.
Loves that kind of stuff. And I tell him what to edit out. And he's like, there's one part in there you said to edit out, but I really liked it. I thought it needed to stay in. So I didn't take it out.
Thank him for me, because it's great. I mean, I was also thinking, I'm like, is it because I know them? Is that what it is? But no, I think it just all fits so well.
So we don't, the only planning we do is what are our videos? Which video is going to be about what?
I see.
Because we want it to be as organic as possible.
Yeah, those are the really rich conversations. To me, that's always been what's been so wonderful about what we do in Happy Campers, is that we show up and we do it live. So we're having those organic conversations right away. If I pre-recorded my thoughts about, whatever, and then you all just came and reacted to that, it's not the same vibe. So I love that that you are doing that. And now you have, like we said, the YouTube channel, you have a website, but where you're moving to get a Facebook group, or you already have a Facebook group for a community to sort of.
We have one, and Audrey and I think maybe my husband are the only ones on there.
Oh, well, after this call, you'll have number 4. I can't count.
We have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have YouTube, we have our website. And on our website, you'll find links to her personal author page. You'll also find a link for my voiceover page.
Right. Okay.
And then we also have a clubhouse that we haven't really gotten going yet.
Yes.
And that's the plan, is to get that going.
Yeah. I told Audrea, I saw her in a chat, that I had planned to go. Was it I think it was last Saturday. You guys had a clubhouse, and I shared it in the Stop Writing Alone Instagram. And I was like, yeah, tomorrow morning I'm going to go. I did not wake up until like either it was just ending or right after. And I was like, it was about 2 hours later that I was like, today is oh no, I wasn't going to make it at all. I totally missed the chat. So yeah, I talked to Audrey. I'm looking forward to those conversations as well. So, and that's the thing, is that I think you're talking about two different platforms there where community can surround you. That's the Clubhouse, the Facebook group, of course, Instagram, but sometimes Facebook is, you can build more of those connections, and definitely Clubhouse is fantastic. So you talked about your voiceover, and I know that was part of a creative journey that sort of started when you were in the Happy Campers Club. But I'm also curious about the books that you were writing during Happy Campers Club. And your husband has been a player of this game, a fan of this game. And so you're sort of like steeped in the verse of these types of characters.
I started it for him. I was like, you know what, honey, I'm just gonna write a universe for you.
Oh,
and
that's wonderful.
That's how it started. And I thought it was going to be one like solid big book. And then I realized that it had three very distinct parts.
Mm-hmm.
So in the process of, do I want it to be a trilogy where each part has its own, or do I want it to be a big honking book with three parts? Considering the genre that it is, the readers of that genre are used to big honking stink books.
It could go either way. Books. You could really go either way. This is not the reader that's going to say your book is too large.
No, they're going to be like, wait, where's all the rest of the words?
Right. Why did you make it tiny and three?
That one started in the Happy Campers Club. That one started.
Yeah, that's why it's on my mind, because I know that was one of the first writing projects that you were working on. Have you been working on any other writing projects, or is it just doing your Right Crowd stuff? And I know you're in the middle of a big move and everything. So
as a true creative,
yes.
I don't have just one in the works.
That's what I figured.
So I have that one that I'm working on, where I've created a whole planetarium system, and there's lots of, okay, so the joke within Happy Campers is that anytime I write something, someone dies.
Absolutely.
So for this series, that is accurate, and sometimes people die and I kill them, and I'm like, wait a minute, they were supposed to last the whole, what happened? Why didn't you move fast enough? Why are you dead?
Amy, what have I done?
I know, right? So I have that one, and then we did as a group the 3-day novel last year in 2020.
Right.
And as part of that, I wrote 27,000 words, and it ended up being what I consider a YA cozy. I don't even know if that's
that's right.
I don't even know if that's like a real genre. However, it's about a group of high school girls. Someone dies, but there's no blood, no cussing, no sex, no, like, you don't see the murder happen. So technically it's also a cozy.
Yes, with it.
So I still have that I'm trying to decide if I still want to do something with.
Yeah.
The detective.
Oh, please do. I think that's, yes, because I'm remembering now. I think when I thought 3-day novel, I was thinking you were still in the same other universe. But yes, the cozy YA was
totally
so fun.
And I had recipes in it.
Yes. It's all coming back.
Totally different. And someone died, but it wasn't like the way I normally kill them.
Right.
Like, a head didn't go lobbing down the street. Like, it's very different. And so and that one, my original thought with that one is that it would be a series like Nancy Drew or the Babysitter's Club kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then the detective from that 27,000 word novella, I ended up pulling him out, and two of the main characters from that story, pulling them out and making another.
Was that the next Nano? The Nano following? Was that your project?
That was Nano that year. Yep. Yeah, so I did 53,000 words on his series. So
which is an adult, not YA, outside of YA.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's an adult. I haven't decided. I've got to go back. It's been a long time since I've looked at it, a year.
Right.
So I have to go back and see if I could keep it as a cozy.
Yeah.
Because obviously people are going to die. It's a detective.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how they were dying in that one, because it's been so long since I wrote it.
And you have so many murders in your brain. It's like, which ones?
I mean, yes.
Which ones?
So then I also have a anthology that I started before all of this,
Okay.
where there are short stories,
Mm-hmm.
and either someone dies in the story, or you have the impression that there was someone dead somewhere,
Okay.
or like they're all like, wait a minute, at the end they're like, oh my gosh, like I presented it to I don't even remember the name of the group. There was a free something here in Florida online, a
Okay.
bunch of women that were writing.
Yeah.
And they all, anytime I shared a story, I got the reaction I was looking for. 'Cause at the end, they're all just sitting there looking at me like, wait, what?
Right.
And one of the woman who leads it suggested I call the anthology cliffhangers, because that's how they all see the.
Oh,
So my goal was to write about 50 and then pull
yeah.
out my favorite ones.
Yeah.
I'm about 3 stories short of actually having that finished.
Wow.
So that
Okay.
may end up being the first thing
The
that I get done,
first-
just so I can get
Because
something.
you're so
completed.
close. Yeah. Yeah.
And then there's another one.
One more.
So there's one more, and it started out as there was a contest,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, I could do this and this, and I'm a visual thinker. Like I
Me
think in
too.
color.
Yeah.
So in my head, I automatically have this story going along, and it's more of a middle grade fantasy.
Okay. Fun.
And then we read the rules of the contest I was going to write it for. And the rules basically said, when you give it to us, whether you win or lose, it's ours.
Oh no.
And I
Yeah.
was like, back it up. Nope, that's not how this works.
Right.
So after discussing it with my husband, we decided I was going to keep it and make it.
I have a great idea. They don't get it.
Yeah. So it's going to be a middle grade fantasy series.
Oh, that's fun.
Where the main character is a human in one world and he's something else in another one.
Fun.
At the same, like he's coexisting.
Yeah.
But it's more for no one dies in this one.
Oh my
It's
goodness.
middle grade. No one's dying.
How will you resist?
But it's this little boy learning about himself and how he can do things, that he's capable of doing things on his own, and that he's courageous and he's helpful and he's compassionate, and like he's got all these things.
Yeah.
And my husband, when he read and heard what my idea was, he started crying. He was like, oh, I wish there was something like this when I was a kid.
When I was a kid.
Because it's a little kid doing good and helping people on both worlds.
Right.
It's a whole process.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
And I see it kind of as not, I compare it to a series of unfortunate events, except it's the good stuff.
Not the dark.
Horrible uncle,
Not
who's
the
like
darkness.
like it's not,
Yeah.
but it's short, little, shorter. And each one is a different adventure with this kid and his family and
Love
his
it.
best friend, who I had as a boy, but I think I need to make it a girl.
Interesting.
After having a conversation with someone last week, I think I need to make it a girl.
Yeah.
But the best friend needs to be a girl. But other than that, that I believe.
Right.
I have that. I think that's all that I have. I have my container because I'm packing up my house so we can renovate and move into an RV so we can build a house.
Right.
All my stuff is in a plastic container under my feet right now. I could pull it out and look and see what
The
all my
treasure
roots
chest. Oh my goodness. All in one space. It's just a wonderful, I feel like you open it up and rainbows come out. So then this makes so much sense to me, because I always remember you having multiple stories going on, but this is even more than I think I realized. We're going to come back around to your time in Happy Campers, but you are involved in other writing communities, and one of them is the 20, is it 20 books to 50K? Is that
Yes, 20 books.
I got my numbers right? Okay. I'm always worried that I'm going to flip them around.
But when I first heard of it, I was like, wait, it's something about books and something with a K. I
This
got to figure it out.
K's and numbers.
20 books to 50K. Yeah.
Right. And so that is a perfect match, right? Because you have all these books rolling around in your brain. So this is a great community to sort of sort out, how do you deal with all of these different ideas. How did you find them, and what have you been getting out of that group? Because we've talked about that group a couple of times in the Happy Campers. I don't know that I've talked about it yet on the podcast. So can you just let the listeners know a little bit about what is 20 books to 50K and what they offer, what you've been able to do with them?
So they are, it's run by Craig Martell. And every year, it started out because they have a conference that Audrey and I happen to be going to. We will meet first time, face to face, like hug each other. Amazing. If we're allowed.
If we're allowed.
And they have a conference that in order to go to the conference, you had to be part of the page. That's how it worked.
Oh, okay.
I think they took that requirement off at some point in time. And they actually, Craig actually did I think he called it Books Across America, where he lives in Alaska.
Okay.
And he did a road trip from Alaska to Tampa.
Cool.
To go to the NIC conference that happened last week or the week before.
Wow.
And he hit different cities along the way and had dinner with people from the different cities.
So he was there?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
So he actually, what's interesting is another member of our group, Tammy O'Quinn. Is it O'Quinn?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I always call her Tammy O. And I'm like, wait, what's after the O?
What's it?
Tammy O was able to participate in the dinner when it came to hers.
Get out of town. That's amazing.
So that's really cool. But so I joined the community just because I wanted to go to the conference.
Gotcha.
The cool thing about that community is that first of all, I love rules. I know it's weird. I love rules, and I love when people enforce the rules when it comes to things like this will and will not be allowed on the Facebook page.
Yes.
They are very much, you don't play.
Right.
Like you follow the rules. I so appreciate it. So if someone posts something they're not allowed to post, it's like 30 seconds later, some admin on the page.
They have the admins going. Yeah. It's a huge group. So they
just
definitely
remember,
have
this
a
is
huge
not allowed.
team.
That person is now banned. Like,
right. Great.
But it's great because you go on and you ask whatever question you need. Most of the dinner I went to, there were 20 people-ish, maybe more at the dinner. And besides a couple of spouses, I was the only unpublished author sitting at the table.
Yeah. Wow.
It's not a page where people just go on and you post something and no one says anything to you.
Oh no,
like
not at
all. You
all.
go on
yes.
and you post and people are encouraging and they're nice and you've got likes and loves. Plus you've got, I'm glad that worked for you. This is how I did it because I found a better way to do it or a different way to do it. Like it's very encouraging, very informative. Yeah. And I'd never heard of this, but there's like plankton and lobster.
The fish.
Like all the fish.
Yeah, so well, you never heard of it if you haven't been in that group, because that's specifically their vernacular for the levels of income that you have made or the level of book sales that you have made. So it's really
people will come on and be like, I'm just a plankton, but look, and they'll do a screenshot. They made $12 right on their first book. Yeah. And then you'll have people who
I love that. When I first joined the group and I was like seeing all these fish, I'm like, what is this? And I'm like,
I had to look it up. I was like, I don't know what they're talking
brilliant.
About. But then you'll have the next person post and they'll have made $1 million.
Right.
But
much
you're
bigger
all in the
fish.
same group and you're all like, everybody's treated the same. Everybody's equal in that group.
Yeah.
I really like it because in this conference that's coming up, I don't even know how many sessions there are. And they have sessions specifically for unpublished. And then they have sessions for like
for the whole spectrum of people.
Everybody.
For the whole spectrum. If you're the plankton, if you're pre-plankton, or if you're whale. Yeah.
And the other cool thing is John Truby is going to be there doing one of the sessions. Yeah. So Audrey and I are going to try to get a short little interview with him.
That'd be great.
In one of his books.
Yes, that will be
we'll
perfect.
See if that maps out. And while I'm there, I will also be going to the Kanab Writers Conference.
Yes, it
happens the week before in Utah.
That one looked really pretty and nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to do the hike that comes with it.
That was it. it was all about the hike.
The hike is
The
what got
hike
me.
is the selling point. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. I love this. Yeah. I'm really, really excited to hear how that conference goes for you. And I was really excited to see the dinner photo. I was like, this is perfect. I love this aspect of community. I didn't realize that the creator was there. I thought it was like a local group of you. So
It was a local
wonderful.
group with him, and there's another admin from the group joined him on the drive.
Yeah.
And so it was her and him that went to all the different dinners.
That's incredible. So that is one community that I know you've been in, and I've been sort of lurking and following. And then the other one is one that we have talked a lot about also in Happy Campers, because so many people are super fans, is Sarah Cannon's Heart Breathings. So that is, I know Sarah offers so many different courses and then just accountability situations and also events. What is it of Sarah's that you are signed up on, and how did you get into her stuff there?
All the things. I'm signed up.
All the things. Okay.
So I found out about Sarah because of Jennifer in the Stop Writing
exactly.
Alone. She was
Jennifer,
the first one who brought up Sarah.
Told us all about it.
I was like, who is this person?
Yes.
Right? When you sign up for Sarah's newsletter, you get access to her Google Drive.
Yes.
That has all the things, like how to plot a novel, word count, sprint trackers, like it's like everything, right? So you get all those things just for being a part of her newsletter. She also has a YouTube channel that some of the YouTube, this is the thing. I like her so much that I'll even watch the videos I'm not interested in. So like, I love planners, but this woman plans, like her planner system is no joke.
Yeah.
And she uses washi tape, which the first time I said washi, I thought it was wasabi.
Wasabi tape.
I mean, I called it wasabi tape, and Jennifer was like, Amy, did you say wasabi? Like, and she's got stickers on everything, and I could not care less about stickers.
Right.
But I still watch her stuff because I'm like, she's just so good, the information she puts out.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And so she has 2 paid classes. I've taken them both.
Right.
The first one is Publish and Thrive, and
That's
the suggested for anyone who wants to do self-publishing.
Right.
She has self-published from the beginning. Well, begins with an H, the romance
hybrid
novel.
one?
The romance novels, not.
Oh, Harlequin.
She wrote Harlequin in the very beginning.
Okay.
She did that through something else. It was not what she wanted.
Yeah.
And she finally like, I need to do my thing.
Yeah.
And so her stuff that she does, which again is not anything that I would ever read, but the information she gives you and the processes that she takes you through, and this is how it works. Here's what I tried. This is what was great about it. This is what I didn't like about it.
Yeah.
Here's these 5 things that you could try. And here's all the different, like she doesn't leave you hanging. She doesn't say, hey, go check this out and leave it at that.
Yeah.
Like she gives you all the things. The other class that she does, which I just finished, is called HB90.
HB90. That's the one I always remember. Is that 90 days? That stands for 90 days?
It is because it's a
quarter
planning system for your quarters.
Right.
So every quarter you replan your based on the HB90 system. It takes you through. These are your goals. Yeah. Why are they your goal? What didn't you do? Is there anything that needs to change?
Right.
How has this happened? Like it's a great way to look at how to plan your quarters. And that's how I got my Kanban board, was through her and Jennifer.
Right. Yeah.
And when we first started talking about it, we were like not even saying the right word, because
I was calling it Kanban all the time. I'm like, what? Tell me again about the Kanban board. And Jennifer's like, no. Poor Jennifer is dealing with us and all of our inability to say words. She's like, goodness gracious. This is Jennifer Holdridge, by the way. She's over at the Creative Harbor on Instagram, if anybody's interested in tapping into all the things, because Jennifer is a wealth of resources. But yeah, go ahead. So that's what I remembered, that you got into the Kanban at around the same time. And then I've noticed that anybody that has really resonated with Kanban, the HB90 has been a really great support to that. And for anybody that doesn't know Kanban, it's an organization system of looking at all of your goals and every all your to-dos basically, but in quarters, and really visually mapping it out for yourself so that yeah, it's a beautiful process. I love watching all the Kanban boards get built and moved, see all the things go. Now that I'm back, I'm home alone during the day and feel a little bit more in control of my days. I may be ready to actually physically jump into the Kanban and not just be a fan.
The great thing about the HB90 is she helps you figure out what your goals actually should be. And I don't like the word should. But
I understand what you mean, though. She has been to the finish line. And so based on that perspective can help you refine your goal to go in that direction.
Right. And HB90 is not just for writers.
Right.
Anybody who needs to plan. And one of the things that she points out is 1 to 3 goals is what you should be focusing on in order to be able to get all the things done.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I part of the end of the HB90 class goes through setting up your Kanban board and breaking down your goals to your tasks. Having those tasks.
Got you. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's both of those classes well worth the money spent.
The money. Okay.
And you have lifetime access. And when she updates it,
that makes it,
you get the updates for free. Like it's not, you don't have to pay for, updates or anything. So
perfect. I love that. All right. Yeah, I know there's great value there. And it's one of those things that I got to get over there. But just the hours in the day, perhaps because I'm not planning. I don't have my hours in the day to do it.
Your problem.
We'll see. So, but this is all I want to circle back to. Happy Campers is you started in April 2020, and how the heck did you find Happy Campers? Was it Facebook? You were one of my Facebook people, right? That you got kind of like recommended or something.
I don't remember.
Okay, so
all I know is I must have been somehow signed up for your emails.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm guessing I found you on Facebook.
Yeah.
But I got your email, and the first round, we were guinea pigs. Yes. The first round of Happy Campers, I was like, okay, maybe if I pay for something,
right,
I'll stick with it, because there's a little free is great, but there's no skin in the game.
Right.
There's no it's on the calendar, but if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. Like no
loss. I didn't lose anything.
It's I am less successful when there's no skin in the game.
I get you.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to pay for it. And at the time, I don't remember the price, but it was like we were guinea pigs. So it
was hilariously cheap.
Yeah, it was like, it's enough for me to be like, okay, I'm gonna take
I paid something.
yeah. And so I was like, all right, so I'm gonna do this thing. And that first week I was like, I'll attend all the things, and if it's not for me, it's not for me. Right. And I'll give it a go. And that's how I got started. And I stuck out for the whole month.
You definitely did. And if I remember correctly, you said you hadn't been writing for a while, or were you? So what was it, do you think? Was it just having the skin in the game, or was it a conversation? Like, what was it that helped you say that changed that?
Okay. So,
okay.
No one's ever asked me this question.
Roll up the sleeves.
Are you ready, Nicole? So I have always wanted to write that in voiceovers. That's always been what I've wanted to do, like for always and ever.
Right.
And I was a live-in nanny for 4 years back in my early 20s.
Cool.
And had plenty of free time to write and didn't. And I really felt like I wasted that time.
I got you. Yeah.
the November before Happy Campers came out, I was let go of a job I should not have been let go of.
One of those.
Yeah, that's a totally different story. But it's Florida and they can do what they want when they want for whatever reason or no reason at all. So I lost a job in November and this came up and I saw it as God giving me a second chance to do what I didn't do before.
So time is here, whether I want it or not. And now I know I regretted that last time that I didn't take it. I got you.
And I remember sitting in that job. I loved my job. And I remember sitting in that job going, if I had multiple times, I would think to myself, if I had done the writing the way I should have done the writing back then, I'd be writing right now. I wouldn't be sitting in this job.
I wouldn't even be here. Yeah.
No, this wouldn't even like all the things that Randy's my husband, all the things that Randy and I could be doing and where we could be and like the trajectory of where we're at, assuming people like what I write, right? There's always the assumption. The first book you write is going to be a bestseller and it's going to be on the New York Times bestseller list.
It would have only taken one book for us to just go
one
everywhere.
book. I mean, hello, other people do it. Why can't I? Right. And that totally could happen. So I'm going off like, this is where I could be if I had.
Yes.
And so when this came up, I was like, okay, Amy, this is the opportunity. This is going to make you put your butt in your seat and see. And I have a habit of, I try something, I like it. Okay, I tried it. I liked it. Cool. What's next?
Yeah.
And what I have found with writing, I actually have multiple little notebooks around everywhere where, because like I have 6 whips going, right? So I always have an idea, but in order to keep that idea from having to feel like I need to put it on paper, I write the idea in a notebook and I know it's there for later.
Yes.
So this was me. I tried it. I liked it. And this is the one thing I find myself continuing to come back to.
Yeah. You don't necessarily need the next thing. You just need, you keep circling back and circling back.
Yeah. It's not like, okay, I did the 3-day novel. I can write 27,000 words in 3 days. I did it.
Yeah.
Cool. What do I want to try next?
Which I think many people go into NaNoWriMo, do it, and they're satisfied. They've done that and they never have to look back. And I do think it is, one of the things that I love about those challenges is that it sort of, in my mind, helps sort people out into everybody always says, oh, I want to write a book someday. All right, so go do it. So NaNoWriMo has everybody write that book. And for some people, it's enough. And for others, it's that seed that it's just like, oh, I want to do it again.
and because of the Stop Writing Alone community, after knowing about and participating in Nano multiple times since 2007, last November was the first time I won. And winning Nano is 50,000 words in a month.
Right.
It's the first time I won. And I wouldn't have done that had it not been for the Stop Writing Alone community with us. Like we had an open Zoom room. If you wanted to go write, just show up and you might be in there by yourself, but there might be someone like Jackie who's always in there.
Jackie might be
there.
There
might be someone in there and there's no talking. It's just the community of knowing that their butt is in their seat.
Right.
And you're writing at the same time. There's no talking. You post when you come in. Hey, Jackie, I'm here. She posts back. Hey, Amy. You look at the camera, you wave, you turn the camera off. And now you're just writing until the next person pops in, or you need to go to the bathroom. Like that was the great thing about the community during Nano is that I knew I wasn't doing it alone. And I'm a person who, when I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. I even actually have a shirt that says that. And so I like the fact that I would reach out to the community and be like, hey, I'm going to be in the Nano room at this time. So even if I was the only one showing up, because I had put voice to my words, I was going to be there.
Had to show up. Who knows if anybody's waiting for me. Right.
There are some people that are not as anal about that as I am. And I'm very careful when I tell someone I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
Now I show up, no one shows up. 20 minutes later, I'm like,
Yeah.
as long as I didn't say how long I would be there for.
You did it. Absolutely. I'm the
I was
same.
there. Yeah.
And
Now, if
the
I said I'm
thing
going to be there
is,
for an hour, then I'm going to sit there for an hour in misery. But I said I
Right.
would, so I will.
this is the torture that I put myself through. But it also, when I recognized that about myself, it changed things dramatically. I mean, that's really like how Happy Campers happened, because it was like, oh, what if I tell the Stop Writing Alone community that I'm going to show up like this? I mean, then I have to.
And then you had like 10 of us show up and you were like, crap, now I got to do something.
No, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. But it was really, really like, I have to, and so I have to show up to the write-ins, and I have to. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to write my stuff. It's fantastic. It's what would I have done if I didn't, especially last year with the whole family being home. I would have been trying to help them out and putting them as a priority, and probably never thinking about my writing in all that time. So it was really helpful to me too. So that idea of us going into a Zoom room and then shutting off our cameras, but staying there, we really brought that to great power. It started in that 3-day novel where we just spent basically 3 days in Zoom together.
Yeah, we were pretty much, someone was in that Zoom at every hour for 3 days.
3 days on Labor Day weekend. And I remember when we finished puzzling over it, that we weren't physically next to each other. And half the time we weren't even seeing each other on the screen, because we would shut the camera off. But something about it worked. And I'm one of those people that if it works, don't question it, just keep going. So that worked for us multiple times. NaNoWriMo, 3-day novel, and then weekly we would always have the writing rooms. But in your process of writing, is there any point where you have to write alone, where having someone next to you or having somebody in the room, you can't necessarily produce the same way? Or is it you just really show up for yourself when you're in community?
I'm an introvert. So I hate saying this, but I don't like a lot of people. I tolerate everybody, but there's not a lot of people that
everybody that knows Amy is like, she must like me. Now Amy said, I tolerate everybody. It's like, oh no.
I tolerate everybody.
What if I'm the tolerable one?
There's something that came around, I don't know how many years ago. I still see it every once in a while. And it's like, I like coffee, my dogs, and like 5 people. And then it's like, and then it's crossed out and it's like one person. I like one person.
Let's be
I like
honest.
more than 5 people.
Let's be honest.
But I don't, I can sit in a room full of people.
Yeah.
And because I'm an introvert, and because I'm used to being alone, because we have no children. My husband is self-employed. He's like, we both work from home. I'm really good at blocking people out.
Right.
So I can, if I sit down and I need to get so many words out and I've only got so many hours to do it in, I'm going to get it done.
Whatever's happening.
And
whoever's there.
Whoever's there. And if my husband comes in, I'm like, honey, you got to give me 10 more minutes and then I'm all yours. Like you've got to, and if it's in community where I know other people are showing up, I'm going to be there. I don't always feel like I have to say something while I'm there, but to know that I was home alone when I did the 3-day novel.
Okay.
But yet I still say we did the 3-day novel because we did it together.
Right. Yeah.
So I think even when I take my laptop, because I'm a paper and pen, I'm starting to move to laptop, I don't think even as a voiceover person, I don't think I'll ever get over to dictation. Like, it's just not.
I am struggling, and everybody keeps recommending it.
Audrea loves
and
it.
I'm a podcaster.
just-
I'm 2 steps from voiceover. I'm talking all the time, but I can't do the dictation. Yes, Audrea is a super fan of dictation.
And I can't do it. So even if I take my laptop to the coffee shop,
Yeah,
and I sit and I write, that's great. But when I'm doing it within the community, it's like, hey guys, this is what I did today. And we're all like, the one thing you have to be careful, and I think it's in any community that you're in, is comparing how much you did to what other people did. Because your life looks different than my life. I have no children and I work from home. Like, I don't have another job that I'm working around. I don't have someone going, mommy, 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 or I need another pancake. Or, I have dogs and I let them out, and then my dogs listen to me and I tell them to go lay down, and they go lay down, right? I'm done. And so, and my headspace is different than your headspace. Absolutely, and where I am in my writing is different from where you are in your writing. So like, there's people in our group that are almost ready to publish their books. I'm not. So I'm not comparing what I'm getting done with what they're getting done. And they're not hopefully comparing what they've gotten done to Stephen King. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you have to remember that you're there together for the support, not for the comparison.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is in my book, it's a whole section about drop and comparison. And Tammy Brightweiser and I were talking about this yesterday in our interviews, same thing, because that is a foundational piece of community. And I think when people struggle in community, it's because they forget that my whole philosophy is, I love me some competition, which comes, unified with comparison. Win. Right. I love it. I love it. But when do I love it? In games, when I'm playing, So if you are in the place where you are comparing and getting competitive, then now we're playing. Now we're not showing up for ourselves and our work.
Changed the whole dynamic of the structure.
It's completely different. There's a time and place for that. And community isn't it? Because like you said, that's about support. It's about support. And we all have our own whatever. And you can't even imagine what the person next to you is dealing with, literally and physically around them. And then, like you said, within their own brain space of what's going on, you don't know. So, it's, I love that you said that, because it's so important. And I think it's difficult, and it's really interesting, because that is one of the things that I think sometimes, when going back to that group that you're in, the 20 books to 50K, they have a really wonderful way of talking about all the different fish, the plankton and this and that, which is really constantly just reminding people that everybody's at a different place in the journey. But if somebody is not in the right mindset and they go in and they see that, they're just going to keep saying, why am I only at plankton? And then rather than seeing all the beautiful support that you have talked about, as talking about your experience in the group, it becomes destructive. So my whole thinking is the second that you feel yourself thinking that or feeling that, then that's not the right place for you at that time. Yeah. If you can't drop the comparison, then you're not ready for even the support, which is sad. So
it's like someone walks in with a beautiful wedding cake, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and you're standing there looking at your ingredients.
Right.
You're not at the finished product yet, but yet you're comparing your ingredients. Yeah. Now your ingredients together can make that, but there's time between ingredients and a finished product. Yeah. And I think, especially with social media nowadays, I think people tend to compare where they are to everyone else, but you don't know where they are. Yeah. And you're comparing also what they're choosing to
Whatever they
show you.
choose, right?
You know all your bits and pieces.
Exactly.
You don't know all their bits and pieces.
Right.
Like, what are they hiding? Social media does great about showing everyone how wonderful you are.
Yes.
And unless you take the time to open up and show the ugly bits, you have to be really careful to not compare your ugly bits to everybody else's polished bits.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the great thing about, as long as you remember that that's what community is for.
Yes.
And no, you don't have to show your ugly bits. Just be careful that you're not comparing your bits to their bits, because there's not a comparison. Even you and I mean,
Yes.
we've known each other now a year and a half. We're in two different spaces, and we support and we encourage and we cheer each other on. And if we're having a bad day, it's okay.
Right.
Like, that's part of community, is that you support the bad day and the anxiety breaks and the I just need everyone to leave me alone for a week. Check back in with me later.
Right.
Like, that's the great thing about community, is that that's what we're there for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, that's great.
And now that we're done with Dr. Phil, we can.
Yeah. It's important though. I think it's really, really important. So, the right crowd is out there for everybody to see, to view. We're going to be creating community in Facebook, in Clubhouse. At this point, are there any plans to do any type of right crowd events, have read-alongs or anything like that? Or is it's still so baby stage? I mean, we're recording this now in like the first weeks of the right crowd. So just in case everybody doesn't get
our
that.
fifth video dropped today.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. So, but is there a big plan to, like, I guess my question is, are you and Audrea, is there any interest to be writing community leaders at some point? Or
yes.
Okay. Great.
Yes, we would love to have a writing community where people can come and write and learn. And our focus is going to be, for now, is writing craft books, like reviewing them. But also, when Nano comes up, we might do some sprints just
on the channel,
on
YouTube channel,
Clubhouse.
Oh, great. Yes.
Yep. And so that we might do that. We're not closed off to anything.
Yes.
We had started being, I don't even know when we started being accountability partners. I have some weight to lose on my back end. And I was like, I need someone that will actually like keep me accountable to this. And it literally just became, hey, let's read a book together.
Oh man.
Oh, let's do this. What if we recorded this? What if we did this? What if we did that? Well, I already have the page saved on Facebook. We could call it this. Okay, that works. Like, it literally wasn't even something we had planned on doing. It just happened.
I love that.
So we haven't really, we don't know where it's going.
Okay.
We don't know. The plan is to do it for at least 6 months and see what happens.
Gotcha.
Give it time.
Right.
And if we're still enjoying it, then we'll still do it for ourselves. If no one else is enjoying it with us, we'll still be there. But if it becomes more of a chore, and there's no one there, then
of course,
we did it. We tried it. It was fun while it lasted. Let's go back to just our weekly calls.
Well, I'll say right now, it's, to me, you're adding value in the writing world conversation, and I'm loving it. So I'm all there for it. And I really do encourage everybody to go check it out, because I'm hoping we'll get Audrea on the show too, to talk to you, to talk to all of us. And yeah, I think there's so much potential there. So I'm very excited for you. So I have one more question that I have been asking everybody.
Uh-oh, I don't like the look on your face. By the way, this is a podcast, but we can see each other. So
we can see each other.
I'm not sure if I looked at the little sly look that just came over your face.
It's just, it's one of those vague, big questions that some people are like, whoa, but I don't, it's simple. Amy Strong, what is your definition of writing community?
See, you can tell that this was not a question that I was prepped for. I think for me, writing community is having a community of writers that you can go to for advice, encouragement. Honestly, it even turns into a shoulder to lean on, like people that you can trust with your work, because that's not always the case in some places. But I think mostly where you can go and talk to someone who maybe hasn't been where you are, but maybe they're going where you are, but you're all in the same frame of mind. You're all focused on the same thing, but there's no jockeying for position. It's just a community of support to get your writing done.
Get your writing done. Get it done already. I love it.
And then, of course, they'll buy the book.
Right.
Whether you want to read it or
Absolutely.
not.
Buy all your buddies' books. Do it.
Buy the book. You tell all your friends about it.
Right. That's fantastic. So, Amy, I can't thank you enough for all of this time and all of this information that you've shared with us. Is there anything else that you want to let everyone know in the Stop Writing Alone community? Or do you want to just shout out all of the spaces where people can find you again? Take the floor. It is yours.
So all of our spaces are the Right Crowd. The only exception is on Instagram. It's _right_crowd. But that's where you can find us on Facebook, Clubhouse, Instagram, YouTube. We drop our videos 5 a.m. every Thursday morning. They are sure to be entertaining. And go join our Facebook group, follow us on Instagram, and check us out on Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Be sure to subscribe on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Be sure to subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notifications. That's a thing too. So yeah, that's wonderful stuff. And I will just say to everybody, it's one thing to join a writing community and be part of the massive crowd, and it is quite another to be a first follower. So this is a unique opportunity to be at the advent of a brand new writing community where you can truly be in the conversation from the get-go. So I think it's a good time. It's a really good time. So congratulations. I'm so excited for all of this going on. And thank you again, Amy. It's been great.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so that's it for this week. I can't thank Amy enough, and I really do recommend you head on over to YouTube, to the Right Crowd, and everywhere that they are. They're over on Instagram, and like Amy said, they have that Facebook group and the website. Just find the Right Crowd all over and be one of their first followers. I think I was their actual first follower. So join the crew, join the crowd. It's an amazing conversation, nothing but growth happening there. I just love it. Eventually you will see that I have been interviewed for the Right Crowd. I don't know when that interview is coming, but when it does, I'll let you know. Otherwise, we have coming up a very, very big month in the writing world. If you're listening to this live, then you've got a couple of days before NaNoWriMo begins. It's National Novel Writing Month. And so many writers just take on the challenge of writing 50,000 words in 30 days. I will actually be a rebel this year, as I am in neck deep. I don't know. I'm underwater in revisions on the Stop Writing Alone book, which is part of why these interviews have been coming along as I'm getting more and more materials to add to that manuscript. So that's what I'll be working on in November. But as a result, I will be hosting write-ins within the Stop Writing Alone community. I do have a Happy Camper session going on. So that is, a private community behind closed doors for now. A new session will be coming in the new year. But stay tuned to the Stop Writing Alone email list for the open door write-ins that will be happening. There's no way that I wouldn't be showing up for the entire community during the month of November while all of this is going on. So the link is in the show notes if you haven't already signed up for the Stop Writing Alone email. You can also always get alerted to these things in the Stop Writing Alone with Nicole Rivera Facebook group as well. So I can't wait to write with all of you. I wish you all the best. Anyone that is trying NaNoWriMo for the first time, for the second time, for the 300th time, well, there haven't been that many, but you know, a little hyperbole never killed anyone. Anyway, happy writing, and I will speak to you again next week. Thank you, as always, for listening.